So we're about 30 days from HR 4117 passing. Hear me out before you say it's not going to happen, because it's being attached to next year's budget for fiscal year 2026, as are provisions of the Transportation Freedom Act. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this. So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And before I get into the video, we got to talk about the giveaway closing out here on the channel. We'll be closing at midnight on the 30th, or I think, was it 31 days in this month or 30 days in this month? And we'll basically September 1st at 12 a.m. Done. All right, no more entries. If you want to win that Ram 1500 Laramie and or the Cadillac STS, you have an option to pick either one. Second place gets what's left. It's very simple. Go to tksgarage.com or pick any of the merch down below the screen. $1 equals one entry. It's exceptionally simple. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So I saw a lot of different people talking about how HR 4117, it was impossible to pass. And if you don't know what HR 4117 is, yes, the text has been updated a few times over at congress.gov, but basically what it does is it would eliminate all fuel economy standards for all versions of mobile fuel. And yeah, that's the coffee maker. Basically, diesel trucks, no emissions. Cars, gas or diesel, no emissions. And I think, as much as people think that the market's not there to do it, if you look at history, people said the same thing about the Clean Air Act. Like, people weren't going to pass that either. Like, I know you're going to say, wait, didn't it make the air cleaner? Sure, okay. Yes, it did help tamp down on some of the smog and some of the issues that California was having back in the late 70s, going into the 80s. Sure, it helped address some of that stuff. But vehicles today run so much cleaner. There's been multiple studies. I've talked about the one with the semi-truck, so it's like, what, 64 trucks per one truck from back then. It'd take 64 semi-trucks to put out the same amount of pollution that one truck put out from that same time period. And it's the same thing for cars and trucks, or heavy duty, light duty, medium duty diesel trucks, like pickup trucks, F-250s, Ram 2500s, you know, High Country Silverado 2500, you know, like Duramaxes. They're all run exceptionally cleaner than what we've seen in the past, right? So what does this mean? HR 4117 is going to be attached to the budget. After September 30th of 2025, there's no more money. That's it. Right now, Congress approved a continuing resolution to fund the government through September 30th. After September 30th, there's no more money, which means government shutdown. Now, who would that hurt the most? Well, if the Republicans put the stuff that they want to put into this bill to pass it, and Democrats refuse to play along and they want to shut down the government, it ends up falling on the Democrats. And right now, the biggest thing that they're worried about is the midterms. They don't care about anything else. They want to try to gain as many seats as possible to try to retake the House. And a government shutdown is not going to help them. There's no way that they're going to be able to positively spin that. So when I see the people saying HR 4117 doesn't have the ability to make it through, I'm just kind of like, says who? Who says that? Anybody with common sense can see the Republicans are in the catbird seat right now. They're literally sitting there, and they're going to have the ability to push this legislation through under the guise of the budget and or a continuing resolution if they can't get a full budget for 2026 submitted. If you didn't know or not, I think it's October is when the fiscal year actually begins. It's not January. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But, they had a budget resolution. Congress was expected to pass a concurrent resolution on the budget for year 2026, setting spending limits and priorities for the year. Appropriations bills in May and June. Fiscal year ends September 30th. The entire process culminates in funding the government for the upcoming fiscal year, which begins on October 1st. So, is there going to be a shutdown? No. Is this how HR 4117 gets passed through Congress? Most likely. Because I can tell you, even though there is a couple Democrats from Michigan that would probably vote for this, they wouldn't have enough in the Senate to get it through with 60 votes. It just wouldn't happen. But a budget resolution, being able to fund the government, pay for some of the same stuff that Democrats also want funded for their own causes, I can see that happening. I can. So some of the great provisions from the Transportation Freedom Act and HR 4117 in its entirety gets attached to this budget bill. I think we have a massive win here. Once the president signs that, we could be looking at, October 1st or September 30th as the date that we actually get complete and utter emission freedom. Outside of the stuff that's already happening with the EPA in terms of them, removing the endangerment finding, and that's a whole different thing all into itself. Outside of that, okay, this by itself, just this, HR 4117 makes all the haters, immediately ends all smog checks, immediately makes it illegal for states to do any of that bullshit. It is gone. So, as much as some of the most negative Nancy's on YouTube want to see this stuff not change, they want the status quo to stay the same. It's changing. And I understand that people they want it right now. You have to also understand that the administration is only coming in on its 7th month out of 4 years. And look at how much has already been done. So when it comes to this, know it's going to happen. You're going to get it, right? And HR 4117 passes, I also heard people say, well, that doesn't make diesel deletes legal. Sure it does. It eliminates all emissions systems, all emission standards. They're not going to go after somebody for removing a DPF or DEF off their truck, aka the weight loss plan, when new vehicles that come out don't have it. Duh. Common sense. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what we do, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's almost pinky out time. We're almost there, man. We're almost there. Just be patient. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest.
Yo, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.